The most hated rapper, aka Drake. Why does everybody hate Drake?
If
See,
you're unaware, there's been a huge beef going on in the rap community as of late, with many of those disses being aimed at Drake. Even recently in Drake's response, he said, "All you people
dare I say, possibly one of the best beefs in hip hop all time. Dare I say that? You know?
teaming up. What is this, a 20v1?" And he said this because artists like Rick Ross, ASAP Rocky, Kendrick Lamar, Future, Metro Boomin, The Weeknd, and many more have dissed him, which has left many people wondering why everybody hates Drake. So let's look into it, starting off with Future and Metro Boomin.
I'm gonna say this now though. If they are beefing over a girl, that would actually be the funniest possible outcome because Future, who literally say he'd be taking people girls, and Drake, who says he does the same thing, and how they get all these women. If they are beefing over a woman, that would actually be hilarious.
In light of recent events, Drake's beef with Metro and Future is pretty well documented, so I'm not going to go super into detail in this section, but it provides the backstory for us to understand why all of these rappers assembled to diss Drake. So Future and Metro Boomin are the two people responsible for the so-called rap civil war, and it seems like Metro Boomin is the main
Does
mastermind
feel like
behind
it,
it.
yeah.
But why does Metro Boomin hate Drake? Well, it seems to have started back in December of 2022 when Drake was left off of Metro Boomin's album Heroes and Villains.
I was just in the studio with Drake one time, because we were gonna do some stuff on my album, and he just wanted to hear some songs from my album. Then he heard that one and really wanted to get on it, but like I was letting him know that it was really just done for real, and I was really just set on how it was. I was like, bro, I ain't even trying to sell you no dream. Like, it's really like just locked in. I'm locked in where it was, but
Their beef seemed to flare up
Okay, I could see that being a thing. If you feel like you're the greatest of all time, and then someone says no, you can't get on my album, I could see, yeah. But I don't think that's not the full fucking story, bro. That's not the full fucking story. Come on.
up again after Drake and 21 Savage's album Her Loss kept winning Album of the Year over Metro's album. Metro tweeted, "Yet Her Loss still keeps winning Rap Album of the Year over H&V. Proof that award shows are just politics and not for me. I don't care about awards honestly. The true award and reward is knowing that the music I spend so much time on brings joy to people's everyday lives."
Bro, if you don't care about the award, why'd you even make the tweet? I feel like if you truly just don't care about that stuff, you're gonna keep making good music and doing your thing and thriving no matter what. But people like who normally care, they always say like have a comment.
Metro quickly deleted it, but there was obviously some tension there. Drake also seemed to respond in a live stream.
And to the rest of you, the non-believers, the underachievers, the tweet and deleters,
I'm not gonna hold the tweet and deleters is actually funny as fuck. That whole spiel. But I could this also a shot because if you took what he said in the tweet as a shot because he did mention your album directly, you just taking a shot back. Okay.
you guys make me sick to my
Internet
stomach,
shit.
fam. Honestly, if you guys want to look in my eyes, you guys want to do something? You guys, that's what I thought.
So we can't be sure if
But I mean, I don't know because it's all indirect, right? It's all indirect, bro.
simply leaving Drake off of his album and Drake winning a bunch of awards over him was what started all of it, but it definitely seemed to fuel the flames. And it made Metro mad enough to make 2 whole albums with Future targeted at Drake, full of a bunch of other rappers who hated him. But why did Future, an old pal of Drake, participate in the formation
Bro, this is what I need to know. This is what I need to know because I listen to both their music. I need to know what really got them disconnected, bro. Because even in Family Matters, he said him and Pluto not linked, like chatting. He don't get it. It bothered him. So it's like, what was the real reason? Did you just always dislike him? Did you feel like you were always being used? And I know, like in the music industry, like it's pretty cutthroat. So people are gonna want to be on the hottest person's song to grow their stuff. Like if they want to break out and get into, like I know that's how the business is because it happens to so many artists. They have a new hot artist come out and everyone's like, yeah, get on my song, bro, make my song better. You're trending, make me better. So I know a lot of people do that already. So like trying to, if that's the reason they dislike Drake, then they would have to dislike a lot of other rappers that do the same thing.
Of this civil war. Well, the origin of Future
gotta
and
be
Drake's
more.
beef is unknown, but we do have some ideas. The last time Drake and Future collabed was on Future's album I Never Liked You, but after that there was some speculation they had some problems.
And back to my Future, Metro Boomin, Drake tension. You don't think it's weird that nothing ever happened with that fucking hit smash song that Future and Drake made with Tim's?
What do you mean? Nothing
Wait
happened.
for You?
It was a hit. When you say
Wait for You is a good ass song too.
It was a smash.
So what you mean? Nothing happened with it.
Never heard it again.
And after that turned out to be the case when Future dissed Drake on his album, it left many people wondering why. Well, a lot of fans speculated for a while that the beef was caused by a girl. But Metro Boomin shut that down by saying, stop making stuff up for engagement and enjoy the music. So with that in mind, the next assumption was that Future and Metro are good friends, and that Future simply sided with Metro in his feud with Drake. Metro's producer tag is literally Future saying, if young Metro don't trust you, I'ma shoot you. And for whatever reason it is, Future and Metro have made it clear that they do not trust Drake.
I mean, that also could be a really good take, but you also have to think, right? Future was hanging out with Drake all the time. Pretty sure at some point he had like the owl chain or some shit. Like he was rocking with him like he was a friend. So to go from friend to don't trust you over another friend is still insane. Especially like when you spent so much time breaking into the industry, getting to where you are, and making such good music with these individuals. So it's like, was it the girl? Can't be, because I feel like at that level they probably all mess with the same types of women anyway. So the girl wouldn't make much sense, even if it was true. So him choosing him over him, like they both from ATL type shit, so I guess it would make
and
sense,
it's clear
right?
that Drake has problems with them too, because on his recently leaked Push-Ups diss, he said, I could never be nobody #1 fan. Your first #1, I had to put it in your hand, which was a Future diss. And all he had to say to Metro was, shut your ass up and make some drums, which was pretty hilarious. So for whatever reason it started,
That was funny as
that
fuck.
issue with Drake is why when they made the first album, they had to recruit another rapper who hates Drake. And that of course would be Kendrick Lamar. Again,
I'm not gonna lie to you. All these other people in the beef don't even matter because they're not better than Drake. But Kendrick Lamar, woo! Y'all seen the other reaction videos. He's been doing them dirty. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the biggest Kendrick Lamar fan, but the newest diss he dropped, it wasn't no slow little Josh. It was that shit. It was jumping. And that shit had some funny moments in it. So this has brought out some really great entertainment.
Kendrick Lamar and Drake's beef is pretty well documented as of late, so I'm not going to go super in depth, but again, it has some important backstory. So Kendrick and Drake started off as friends in the early 2010s, with Drake really helping him out early on by bringing him on tour with A$AP Rocky. They collaborated a few times together as well. But the beef all started when Kendrick and Big Sean released Control. And in Kendrick's verse, he said he was coming at everyone in the rap game, including Drake. Most people weren't offended by this because Kendrick said he had love for them and figured it was just some friendly competition. But Drake took it a different way. Drake said, I didn't really have anything to say about it. It just sounded like an ambitious thought to me. That's all it was. I know good and well that Lamar's not murdering me at all in any platform. So when that day presents itself, I guess we can revisit the topic, which is pretty ironic looking back. This along with Kendrick progressively
At that time though, right? Like they're all good artists, but for different reasons, you know? Like they're all entertaining and have their abilities to do what they do on the song. Whether Drake got 1 million ghostwriters, whether Kendrick beat up his girl, allegedly, whether he's just lyrical and boring, which his songs don't always be boring, you know? It's just there's a certain vibe for certain times of your lives, and some people are always in Kendrick vibe, some people always in Kanye vibe, some people always in Cardi vibe, some people always in Future vibe, and some people always in Drake vibe. It does make a lot of sense that way. But I mean, you know, music is subjective.
blowing up and challenging Drake's status kicked off a decade of subliminals between the two artists that I'm not going to get into. But if we fast forward to the late 2010s when Kendrick was on a hiatus after Damn, we can see Drake directly calling him out multiple times.
You know, the other two guys that I'm constantly, you know, up against, which is like Cole and Kendrick. I'm excited that the decade's about to turn and we're gonna see who can, you know, who can go that extra stretch.
About these guys that go away 3, 4, 5 years, want to chill out, all that shit. That's not me.
After First Person Shooter, a song where Drake and Cole collabed and said they were the GOATs, Kendrick had to respond. That's when he featured on Like That with Future and Metro Boomin, in which he directly called out Drake. Kendrick said things like, "Mother F the big three, it's just big me. I'm really like that, and your best work is a light pack. Prince outlive Mike Jack. For all your dogs getting buried, that's okay with all these nines. He gonna see Pet Cemetery." As I'm sure most of you know, this diss sent everyone into a frenzy, and there was no way that Drake could not respond to it. So he did on the leaked diss song Push Ups, a song where most of the bars were directed at Kendrick, but he
Hey, and this is where the journey began, bro. Because I'll be fair, when I listen to Like That, I don't even hear Kendrick part. I feel like I hear him, his ad lib, boom. I hear his ad libs. That's pretty much it. And then it just rolls into, you know, everybody else on the song, and I'm vibing. But once Drake dropped this, and then Kendrick dropped his other one, that's when it really started picking up steam. Like, even though they was, again, they still, like, it's not my particular style of beat, because I like to be like hype and energized if I'm listening to hip hop. And if I want to listen to something more calm and chill and vibey, you know, there's tons of genres for that too. So, you know, I'd be mixing my shit up. Like, you know, but yeah, let's go.
took some shots at everyone else dissing him as well. He said things like, "How you big Stefan with a size 7 men's on? Maroon 5 need a verse, you better make it witty. Then we need a verse for all the Swifties." And a bunch of other lines like that. On this song as well, Drake claimed that Like That is not what started the beef, but it's been brewing for a long time, which is evident in the decade of subliminals they've sent to each other. If you want a more in-depth video on Kendrick and Drake's relationship, I suggest this one by What's the Dirt, which I'll link down below. But Drake's recent response had a few other disses towards other artists in it, including The Weeknd.
And you know what? I feel like their beef probably is like dumb as shit too. He's probably like, "You're from Toronto, fam. Why you not up here with us repping us properly?" You probably feel like Abel like dipped on him, but he really didn't. He just followed his own path, right? But I feel like that's what their beef should be over. But watch me be wrong. Watch me be wrong.
The Weeknd and Drake have had a fairly public feud that's been on and off for a while now, but after being featured all over Future and Metro's albums and sending some shots at Drake, the flames seem to have been reignited. It all started in 2010 after Drake heard a new young artist called The Weeknd, and they met in 2011. Drake supported his career very early on and was a big fan of him. They worked together a lot, and The Weeknd even wrote 4 of the songs on Drake's album Take Care.
I'm not gonna lie, right? That is a thing. When Drake fucks with you and your style or your talent, he puts you on. He literally gets with you. I mean, he's not all, but he's putting some people on, of course. But he gets with you and he takes whatever you're doing and helps you catapult that to the maximum level. And I feel like that's kind of what a lot of these artists be looking for. Either they're looking for someone to push them to the next level, or someone they can push to the next level to benefit off that. But that's what kind of industry the entertainment industry kind of is anyway, sadly.
As The Weeknd was growing as a solo artist, in 2012 Drake said, "I want to continue being involved in his career and vice versa, and keep making music together. As far as on paper, it's all being worked out. But that's not really what counts anyway. What counts to me is the fact that affiliation is known, and that's all I really care about." It was clear that Drake wanted to sign The Weeknd, and he said it often.
This is forever the first artist that OVO ever had and still has, and OVO XO is alive forever, I promise.
But that would be turned on its head when The Weeknd signed with Republic Records in September of 2012, which clearly upset Drake. He said on Twitter, "You won't get away with just a thank you. You owe me a favor." Things went along as normal for a while. And if you're curious, a normal Drake beef looks like some subliminals throughout your...
I'm about to say, so he was hurt that he signed to the Republic Records instead of to him. He sent out a tweet, petty as fuck, but you know, for all you astrology wizards, it's a Scorpio energy, I guess.
songs while maintaining the fact that you're cool in your interviews. Until 2013, when The Weeknd did an interview with Complex. He revealed that the songs he gave to Drake were originally for his album House of Balloons, but The Weeknd made it sound like he didn't really want to or that it wasn't the right decision. He was also asked in reference to Drake, "People think you guys aren't cool with each other anymore," to which he responded, "No, that's not true, but it makes sense. The thing about Drake is I told him what my decisions were going to be, and he was down with it from the beginning." So despite the both of them saying they were cool, there did seem to be a bit of tension surrounding Take Care and The Weeknd not signing to OVO.
I could see that being the thing too, though. Like, maybe The Weeknd was honest about what he was gonna do, and Drake was just salty. That could really be a thing. But with this shit, you never know, because I feel like outside of Kanye just flapping and yapping, there's probably not a lot of people that are saying much openly like that about the inner workings of what they have going on, even if it's just from their side.
In 2015, The Weeknd opened up a little bit more about his early relationship with Drake when he said to Rolling Stone, "I gave up almost half of my album. It's hard. I will always be thankful. If it wasn't for the light he shined on me, who knows where I'd be? And everything happens for a reason. You never know what I would say if this success wasn't in front of me now." So even though
But you know what? That was still a fire. Even and rappers do that. Yeah, bro, just give me that song. I'll kill it, and I'll make it, and you'll get writing credits. And I mean, who knows? The Weeknd could have made those songs, and they could have been 1,000 times better. We would never know that now, but I could see that bothering you because you feel like it's your hard work, your creativity, and if you didn't want to give it up and you still gave it up, that's gonna give you resentment.
he wasn't entirely happy about giving some of his songs to Drake, he was still able to appreciate and acknowledge the big boost that Drake gave him. Things were quiet for a while until 2017 when they both appeared on each other's shows, signifying that they were cool despite any previous tension. But then Drake was rumored to be dating The Weeknd's ex-girlfriend Bella Hadid, which definitely could have sparked some issues between the two. After that, Drake posted a throwback photo to Take Care, and someone wrote in the comments that said The Weeknd wrote the entire album. To which Drake responded, Abel co-wrote on Shot For Me in Practice, obviously was featured on Crew Love and The Ride, and that's it. There's 20 songs on that album. Don't Try Me. But then The Weeknd actually got back with Bella Hadid for a while, which possibly upset Drake as many people speculated on his 2018 album Scorpion that he sent some more subliminals to The Weeknd. Then in 2019, The Weeknd seemingly dissed Drake back on his song Lost in the Fire, saying, "And I just want a baby with the right one, cause I could never be the one to hide one," which is a reference to Pusha T.
And The Weeknd be singing, so if you're not really listening, you'll miss some of that shit. This is interesting though. If they both dated the same model, why are they mad at each other? Why'd she date in the same circle? Why y'all not mad at her? Why didn't y'all leave her alone? That's like the thing, right? Like if she was dating your man's, but then I don't know, cause like the rules are so different everywhere, right? Some people say, well, like if the girl wants you, she chooses. It's not up to you to call it, cause you know some people are like, oh dibs, I got dibs, but that's not realistic. You could be interested in a girl and she have zero interest in you. But in the situation where she was interested in your boy first, and then they break up, and then she goes to you, wouldn't you just? No, I'm good. I don't know. I'm not at their level, so who knows what it's really like.
Revealing that Drake had a son that he was hiding from the world. The Weeknd also said on Nav's song "Price on My Head," "You beefing with yourself, tell the truth. People on your side, they would ride for me too." But again, Drake would maintain that he had nothing but love for The Weeknd.
I'm to this day, I'm always excited, always super happy for all those guys. And I never like had any resentment towards like, oh, you didn't stay on OVO. That was never really like, I'm not gonna say there weren't people that didn't feel a way about it, but that was never my thing. I never expected Abel to stay under OVO as soon as I heard him once express that he wanted to do his own thing. So it's like, my biggest regret would maybe be that we probably wasted 7 years not communicating with each other when we had something beautiful going on.
Drake echoed this sentiment on his song War by saying, OVO XO link up, and they boy that sound like he sang on Thriller, we just had to fix things, family 6 things, we can't split up. After that, things seemed like they might have been cool again, especially when they were hanging out together at The Weeknd's birthday party in 2022. But in 2023, on Drake's album For All the Dogs, it seemed like he may have sent a shot at The Weeknd on the song All the Parties when he said, "My playing P&D in them shorties don't listen to Weeknd." Some people don't think it was a diss, but after recent events, it very well could be. In late March of this year, Future...
I mean, that's the thing. People could just write shit in a song because it sound good, and it's gonna spark that, like, oh, does he dissing me? Like, it could spark that. So that could literally be why they do that shit sometimes, but it's never gonna turn out positive if they do that.
Metro Boomin released their collab album We Don't Trust You, which, if you're unaware, was essentially an entire diss album towards Drake, with a handful of features having beef with Drake as well. The Weeknd had some vocals on there, but it wasn't until they released We Still Don't Trust You where the disses at Drake came from The Weeknd. The most direct shots were on the song All to Myself when The Weeknd said, "They could never diss my brothers when they got leaks in the operation. I thank God that I never signed my life away. And we never do the big talk. The shooters making TikToks got us laughing in the Lambo." This line references a few things, like OVO affiliates spilling the beans to Pusha T about Drake's son, and how The Weeknd is glad he never signed to OVO. And Drake, of course, was not a fan of this team-up, so he sent some shots back on his diss song that was recently leaked called Push Ups. Drake said, "Your manager was Chubb's little blunt runner, claimed the 6 and you boys ain't even come from it. And when you boys got rich, you had to run from it. Cash Flow and Abel Bread out here tricking. Shit we do for is he doing for dudes." Cash XO is the Weeknd's manager, so
he doing for dudes.
basically Drake was making fun of
Hold on. Saying that he's tricking for dudes is hilarious.
both of them in this line. So now that we know the beef with Drake and The Weeknd is back on, we can't say for sure exactly why, but it definitely has something to do with some ex-girlfriend drama or The Weeknd not signing to OVO back in the day. And because he knew The Weeknd hates Drake, Metro Boomin made sure to get him on this album with Future. And another person he made sure to get on this album was A$AP Rocky.
Okay, A$AP Rocky must be on We Still Don't Trust You, because I have not gave that a full listen yet.
Similar to The Weeknd, A$AP Rocky and Drake used to be good pals, but now there is some beef that is in large part because of a girl. Surprise, surprise. Back when A$AP Rocky was starting out, Drake took him on his Club Paradise tour with Kendrick Lamar, and because of this, Rocky said that Drake is the one who put him on.
The only person that put on for me when I ain't have nobody was Drake. I'm talking about Drake was the first person to put on, like, before anybody. He didn't want to sign me.
Yeah.
He didn't want to, it was like, yo, that's raw talent, yo. Like, you gotta shine, yo. I'm gonna see to it. I forever owe Drake.
They collabed.
Bro, it's crazy that so many people say this about him. And then at the end of that journey, they don't fuck with him no more.
Together, most notably on songs like Effin' Problems, and were good buddies for a while. But as many of you probably know, Drake really liked Rihanna. They apparently dated briefly in 2009.
Nah, he was into her. That was his
both
bae.
of which Rihanna denied.
little
But
bae.
it seemed like Drake was obsessed with her. Like when he gave a speech
little
about her
bae.
at the VMAs
Little bae.
saying, "But most of all, we love the woman who hasn't changed since day one. She's someone I've been in love with since I was 22 years old. She's one of my best friends in the world. All my adult life, I've looked up to her even though she's younger than me. She's a living, breathing legend in our industry." Apparently, they even kissed on stage around this time. But there was a bit of a love triangle going on. A$AP Rocky and Rihanna met around 2011 and first collabed in 2012. He also toured with her in 2013. But then Rihanna and Rocky were seen hanging out a bit more in 2018 and 2019. And by 2020, there were rumors that they were dating after Rihanna had broken up with her previous boyfriend. Fast forward to 2022 and the couple is having a child together. Then another in 2023, and then Rihanna
Bro, so they were like linked up like for a minute, but in that in-between phase, she was linked up with Drake. But Drake has always openly been interested in her too, so it's kind of
confirmed that their romantic relationship began in 2019, and there were even rumors they were going to get married. But one person seemed to be a tad bit jealous, and that was our good pal Drake. Many fans assumed that Drake's song Fear of Heights from For All the Dogs was about Rihanna, because he said things like, "Why they make it sound like I'm still hung up on you? That could never be me. Girl can't run me. Better him than me. Better it's not me. And the sex was average with you. I'm anti because I had it with you. And I had way better than you. TBH. Yeah, that man, he's still..."
You know, some of this shit motherfuckers be right and gotta be to spark up controversy, bro. It has to be. Because if you was in love with a shorty, I mean, I know once you get burned, you can feel upset and, you know, say these types of things and not really feel this. I mean, you know,
with you, he can't leave you. Basically, the entire first verse was aimed at Rihanna and Rocky, with, in my opinion, some pretty weak disses. Drake also seemingly dissed Rocky on the song Another Late Night when he said, "I ain't pretty Flacco, this shit get really rocky." Oh, and on Virginia Beach, Drake said, "I know what you say I could have treated you better or whatever. But I don't know, I think I did alright. And you know how you get drawing conclusions like you got a Parsons degree or something. I could have treated you better, that's crazy. Nope." In a hilarious interview where a TMZ reporter tried to jog with Rocky and ask some questions, she asked about the Drake diss, but Rocky didn't respond. But then Rocky somewhat responded on Kid Cudi's song Wow, where he said, "These people can't stomach me, gotta go get a mandrake." However, Rocky finally addressed the situation directly on Future and Metro's second diss album, We Still Don't Trust You, on the song Show of Hands. He said, "People swear they the baddest. I just begged the worst one. And they feelings over women. What, you hurt or something? I smashed before you birthed, son. Flacco hit it first, son. Still don't trust you. It's always us, never them. Heard you dropped your latest shit. Funny how it just came and went." So it's pretty obvious what Rocky's talking about here. Drake didn't seem to target Rocky on his latest diss track, but he did post this meme targeted at everyone who dissed him. So at least we know why the two of them started beefing. But one person we didn't know was beefing with Drake was Rick Ross, until we just recently learned the reason.
And I guarantee it's over a woman. It gotta be over a woman. because they made hella songs together too. So it got to be overwhelming. They was bestie boys.
Rick Ross is an artist who has seemingly been good friends with Drake for a while now, so many people were surprised to see them beefing. They've collaborated many times, most notably on songs like Money in the Grave and I'm on One. They even hinted at a collab album as recently as 2021. There was a brief conflict between the two back in 2016 when Drake was beefing with Meek Mill, since Meek was signed to Rick Ross's label. Ross said, "If it's gotta go there, Renzel gonna jump off the porch on your ass. That's just the way I've always been and I'm gonna die that way. You just gotta know what you're doing for your dogs." So he clearly was siding with his signee, which makes sense. And when Drake and Meek patched things up, so did Rick Ross and Drake in 2017. The most recent time we've heard Rick Ross speak positively of Drake was in May of 2023 when he said on Drink Champs that him and Drake are very close. Even in January of this year, Rick Ross said to Aiden Ross on a live stream that his favorite Drake collaboration was Stay Schemin' and that it was a magical experience making it. In March of this year, Rick Ross and his girlfriend Christina Mackey announced that they had broken up.
All right, boys. I'm just gonna say it. This is how I think personally. If you are making money in the top bracket, or we don't even gotta sit to making money. If you are at the top of your work center, your place, or everyone is looking at you like you're the him of the area you're in, and that your girl breaks up with you and then wants him, it's a cold world. Now, if they were good friends, personally, and I'm thinking on this like as on a regular level, like if they were besties like that, Drake should have just left her alone. To be real, that's just the truth. He should have just left her alone instead of like engaging in that. But it seems like in this space, in this celebrity space, they just be in that motherfucker. Come here.
Back in February. But then, for some reason, Rick Ross unfollowed Drake on Instagram after Like That by Future, Metro, and Kendrick was released. Everyone was focused on the Kendrick verse and may not have realized that Rick Ross was featured on the album as well. An album that, mind you, was full of Drake disses. It was basically targeted at Drake, if you haven't picked up on that already. Ross's verse didn't have anything to do with Drake, but it may have been that tiny bit of allegiance that upset Drizzy, because shortly after that, Drake invited Rick Ross's ex-girlfriend Christina Mackey to his concert, and it was a fancy invite that she posted, which probably had Mr. Ross.
That makes more sense. Okay, so everything I said previously, let's scratch that. That makes sense. He seen them on the album where everyone was dissing him, and he was petty and invited his ex to the concert.
Ross feeling some type of way. This is when people thought there was beef, and then it was confirmed not too long after. When Drake's song Push Ups leaked, he had some bars for Rick Ross. He said, "I might take your latest girl and cuff her like I'm Ricky. Can't believe he jumping in, he turning 50. Every song that made it on the chart he got from Drizzy. Spend that little check you got and stay about my business." So he briefly addressed Rick Ross, saying,
"That's funny." So he got petty. Okay, yeah. But I mean, going after somebody ex to be petty like that, it's gonna make them want to, and then drop us some new bars on. It's gonna do it. That's gonna do it.
saying he took his girl, referenced Rick
Holy
Ross's
shit.
past as a correctional officer,
It's
and
like
then
too
said
good.
that every song on the charts that Rick has got has been from him. He didn't spend too much time on Rick Ross as there were many other people that he had to send shots at, but it was enough for Rick Ross to immediately get in the studio and respond to Drake in a full-length diss track. He said,
That is
"Ghostwriters,
hilarious,
they
bro.
get to floss what you could have had. Record label taking a loss, are you in your bag? You a worker wanting to chart, don't make me laugh." Here he directly addressed Drake's claims and said that because Drake outsources things like ghostwriters and has to pay for them, that the record label is probably taking a loss on his music. Ross continued later on saying, "Like his moves, but he never had to fight in school. Always ran, another person had to write your grooves. Flow is copy and paste, Weezy gave you the juice. Another white boy at the park wanna hang with the crew." In this line, he calls Drake soft again, saying he doesn't live the lifestyle he claims to have lived. And Ross also said that Drake just got his flow from Lil Wayne. On the hook, Ross called out Drake for leaking his diss track instead of speaking directly. But one of the most interesting things to happen on this track was in the outro when he accused Drake of wanting to be white, so he had a nose surgery to make his nose smaller than his dad's nose. The nose accusation actually had Drake's mom texting him asking, "The internet is saying you got a nose job?" To which he responded, "It's coming from Rick Ross, the guy I did songs with. He's gone loopy off the Moonjaro. He hasn't eaten in days and it's turned him angry and racist. He's performing at proms for money. It's bad. Don't worry, we'll handle it." And he also
I'm not gonna lie, saying you're performing at proms for money, that's actually hilarious. That's like a little too devious, bro. Like that shit is comedy, bro. And everyone could say, "Oh, Twitter fingers, Twitter fingers." These motherfuckers have had Twitter fingers for years now. We already know that. We don't care. The drama is good. Continue.
Also tagged Rick Ross saying, "You're one nosy goof." Then Rick Ross claimed that he unfollowed Drake because Drake sent a cease and desist to French Montana, which finally explained why the beef started in the first place. A lot of people were speculating that the song Splash Brothers from Mac and Cheese 5 by French Montana was supposed to have Drake on it because of a leak. There is a version of the song out right now with Rick Ross and Lil Wayne, but not one with Drake. So many people think that Drake sent a cease and desist so he wouldn't release it. Of course, we don't know the exact details. French Montana hasn't commented on the situation, but since Rick Ross said it and it doesn't really seem like something to lie about, it's likely that this is the reason why Rick Ross is beefing with Drake. Also, they've been arguing back and forth on Instagram talking about who's got the bigger mansion and stuff like that. Crazy rich people arguments I couldn't imagine relating to, but it's not super relevant to the beef. But all it tells us is that Drake doesn't take Rick Ross seriously enough to address him anymore in his songs. However, there are a few more artists that fans speculate have some beef with Drake right now.
Okay, we already know Kanye West, bro. We already know, bro. We already know. We already know this one, bro.
Like everyone else on this list, Kanye and Drake were friends early in Drake's career. There was a little bit of tension here and there, especially after a Kanye rant from 2016 when he said the radio plays too much Drake, but for the most part, everything seemed good. Until in 2018 when Pusha T's beef was heating up with Drake and Kanye had just produced Pusha T's album Daytona, that's when there seemed to be some issues. Drake thought Kanye, who had released multiple albums that year that he had produced, had them all come out to mess up the release of Drake's album Scorpion. Kanye apologized for this, but then released the infamous song Lift Yourself. This song is funny because Drake said he liked the beat, so Kanye wasted it by saying things like poop diddy scoop on the song.
This is why I think Kanye is top tier, bro. Drake said he liked this shit, and he made a throwaway track. And the throwaway track is so entertaining, bro.
And releasing it. Then Kanye got mad at Drake for allegedly sneak dissing him on Sicko Mode and apparently threatening his family. There's some more petty stuff in 2021 and then even more in 2023 when Drake sampled Kim Kardashian, Kanye's ex-wife, on his song Search and Rescue. There have been a lot of rumors that Kim and Drake have been dating, but there isn't any confirmation. People also saw videos of Kim K at some Drake shows and have theorized some of his lyrics have been about her, which also could have upset Kanye. Over the years, Drake has sent many subliminals and Kanye has gone on plenty of rants about Drake. So basically their beef is over a bunch of pretty petty stuff, which isn't very surprising considering both of their personalities. And I wasn't going to include Kanye in this video until he recently inserted himself in the—
Yeah, bro, and when I'ma just say it, when he got on the Like That remix, he was not needed to be on there. He just got on there just to be on there. Just so he could throw a shot at Drake just cause. And he supposedly we were supposed to get Vultures 3 a couple days, or Vultures 2 a couple days ago, and we didn't.
The Drake dissing tag team by remixing the song that started it all, Like That.
That's what it is. But I did do this Like That remix though. I think that's what you was wanting to lead into and shit. Let me see.
You got the Like That remix. I don't believe Gay jumped on the Like That remix.
You know we had to get the hooligans up here. We gonna take this pussy nigga out. Yo, Dot, I got you.
And as I'm tired of this nigga fucking with me and all this shit, man. So the fact that these niggas is coming together finally, because it's not just about the elimination of Drake, you know, it's like we're gonna tear the head off whoever they got that they thought was in control of.
Kanye said on his remix, "It's a rap for people. Where's Lucian? Serve your master. You caught a little bag for your masters, didn't you? Lifetime deal, I feel bad." Kanye said this because he isn't with the label anymore, but Drake is still working under UMG, whose CEO is Lucian Grange, which directly claps back at what Drake said about Kendrick dropping for Top. So it's crazy to see yet another person who doesn't like Drake jumping in on the beef. So now I think everyone is just waiting for Pusha T to jump back in. J. Cole also—
And the Like That remix, they made them take that down immediately. They were not playing. They were like, hey, get that out of here. We don't want it. Get it out of here.
caught a stray on this song, which was tough. And he also posted this meme about J. Cole, so I feel pretty bad for him now.
Okay. Nav, Trav, and why is J. Cole on here now? Did J. Cole say something against, or is it because he apologized? This is the apology, right? Yeah.
Now we are going to get into some people who are thought to have beef with Drake, although I
theory.
personally don't think these are very likely, starting with J. Cole. So if you're somehow unaware still, Drake and J. Cole are pretty tight as of late. They just recently collabed on First Person Shooter and got off tour like a week ago, which makes it very unlikely that they're beefing. However, J. Cole did surprisingly feature on Metro and Future's We Still Don't Trust You on the song Red Leather, which made a lot of people—
See, I didn't listen to this album, bro. Now I have to go back and listen to this because I did not know he featured on this. I only listened to We Don't Trust You because I tried the first couple songs on this and I just wasn't in the zone to enjoy it.
People think that J. Cole switched sides, but his verse had nothing to do with the beef and neither did the song. Many people do think that Drake is the type to get in his feelings about this, but I highly doubt that Drake is upset as they were literally on tour together as the song dropped. Another person people think has beef with Drake is Travis Scott, in part because he also featured on We Don't Trust You. And despite his verse lacking any disses to Drake, some people saw this video of Drake fake shooting a Travis Scott head at his show and thought it meant he had problems with him. In reality though, he was performing one of the songs he has with Travis Scott, and has been doing this for the entire tour. Also in Drake's diss, he literally shouted out Travis. So again, it's not very likely that they...
Yeah, I'm about to say, I don't think they have beef. There's really no reason for them to. Like, it just doesn't make much sense. And like, Travis is just good at being on hooks. People want him for certain types of songs anyway. So like, he's gonna go where the bag is, bro. Like, come on.
Beef. But it is possible that he may have some type of animosity towards Nav. After Like That dropped and Rick Ross unfollowed Drake, so did Nav. Shortly after that, Drake posted a picture on Instagram with the caption, "I ain't picking up, I'm in Turk's Lil Baby," which is a quote from
I ain't picking up, I'm in Turk's Lil Baby. I'm in Turk's Lil Baby. That's funny as fuck,
Nav
bro.
song Turks. There hasn't been anything that happened since then though, so we can't be sure if there's actually any beef. Nav didn't even hop on We Still Don't Trust You, so we really have no idea what's going on. Regardless, it's clear that Drake has...
Bro, what if all of this is just scripted? Like, they did this on purpose. What if they did this on purpose? They're like, you know what? We want to make someone have a massive resurgence. We need your old songs with all these people to start streaming higher and higher. What if that's why they did this shit, bro?
Has upset a lot of people in the industry, and I'm excited to see how it all plays out.
You guys made it to the end of the video. I appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe, feel me? And we are out.